Good afternoon. I want to show you something. This Pioneer SA-708 that I washed the other day, I uploaded a video on my channel. Quickly want to show you something. I've been a firm believer for many years that these were some of the most wonderful amplifiers that were ever built. Its smaller sibling, the SA-508, or in some countries they were sold as the SA-5800, and this one was sold as the SA-708. And as you progressed up the list, the biggest one that you got was the SA-900. The SA-708 rated at 65 watts per channel. It's a Lin style push-pull complementary output pair transistor amplifier with a few proprietary transistors. Oh my gosh, I got complaints about this. Let me just turn on lights so that you can see. There's the input sections of the channels. This beautiful fishtail style or fish bone style heatsink that's got the shaved aluminium fins coming out. The transistors are mounted directly underneath that. Output protection circuitry and main power supply circuitry over there. And then you've got your 3 transistor phono stage. So very simple, typical 1980s construction, but this is what I want to show you. I've got it connected to my 8 ohm per channel dummy load here at the back, which goes into the audio precision audio analyzer. And as I creep into the screen and the camera settles, I've got it putting out 1 watt into the 8 ohm dummy load. It's set at ICA weighted setting, and look at the total harmonic distortion. Isn't that just beautiful? That is what makes these amplifiers so darn good. They've got wonderful distortion ratings. It's just incredible, and the distortion rating stays wonderful. Let's push it up to around about 10 watts. Look at that. 1 kilohertz input signal from the oscillator. Let's push it up to, what's that, just below 30 watts. Let's get it to approach. It's rated 65. Oh gosh, 65 watts rating or 60 watts rating. Look at that distortion figure. This thing benches at over 80 watts, and it's rated as a 65 watt per channel amplifier in, from the official publication by Pioneer back in 1980, which is spectacular. That it's really, underrated like this. It's this trend, it seems, for many decades to underrate, but it's also a good thing, keep it within the 65 watt rating and you'll be happy. But this thing can deliver when you need it to. And let's just get one thing out of the way. This display that's been used on a lot of the models, and lots of models moving sideways as well, because they were under different models in a slimmer line package, and different variants. This display, I'm not talking about that 65 watts on the display. I'm talking about the SA-708 wattage rating in its manual. So let's just get that one thing clear. And in this specific model, it's excellent. It's got true tone bypass. There you go. It's got a loudness, of course, which is standard on integrated amplifiers from this era. Subsonic filter not for bad records, for bad turntables. It's got a mono stereo switch, and I just love these toggle switches. This is what makes vintage hi-fi so great, and especially Pioneer's effort it's so tactile, it's stylish, and it's built to last. Milled aluminium covers on the switches. You've got an extensive tape monitor switching array over here. There's your primary input functions that also follows the display indicators there at the top, which is just lovely. And it's got a minus 20 dB muting switch. I don't know why they call that a muting. It's an attenuator more than it's a muting switch. And then it's got a nice volume control with a clicky indentation system on the shaft. It's not a stepped attenuator, but it gives you the sense of a stepped attenuator. This amplifier, I just love them. I love them. If you can pick one of these up, grab it. It's easy to repair, it's easy to work on. As long as it's got all its hardware intact, as long as its display is intact, and as long as it's got its its proprietary output transistors, you get modern replacements that will handsomely replace these output transistors, but the package is the problem, the way they get mounted. If I can just gently lift the amplifier up, there you'll see it's Fairchild, well, in this case Fairchild transistors, but some of them were equipped with Toshiba output transistors, and I believe you also got Hitachi transistors in this package. So to fit modern equivalent output transistors will be a little bit of a thing, but it can be done and you'll retain the performance. So if you can pick one of these up for a good couple of money, then do it. So yeah, don't give these Oaks a skip ever. If you're into vintage gear, then this is certainly one of the amplifiers to get your hands on. I really love it. It's handsome, and this specific model, the SA-708, is equipped with a turn-on delay and speaker protection system. I've got the smaller SA-508 that's not equipped with the speaker protection relay. An auxiliary aftermarket system can be installed. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you look after your volume levels and your speaker loads, then you'll be fine. Of course, these bigger boys can handle lower impedance speakers much more handsomely than the smaller models, so don't ever let that be a worry. And that's what I wanted to show you today, is that the big thing is the performance levels of these amplifiers on a proper piece of test equipment is just wonderful. And Pioneer certainly knew what they were doing back in the late 70s and early 80s when they produced this line of amplifiers. They were wonderful. It's a pity actually that the speakers that you got with these amplifiers, or that you got from Pioneer for this line of amplifiers, were less than spectacular. Maybe if it's a pair of HPM 60s, there's a very specific version of the HPM 60 that was made in Japan, that had wonderful drivers in. They are relatively decent speakers to put on these amps, but they will still have a very vintage sound. If you want to get the best out of these amplifiers, out of these line of amplifiers, connect them to a pair of modern loudspeakers like Klipsch, B&W, Kef, Boston, Proac, Tannoy, whatever brand you fancy. Get this amplifier hooked up to a pair of modern speakers and it will blow you away. Oh, a wonderful pair of modern speakers that's got like a retro vibe going, but that will match beautifully with this, will be that new retro series from Wharfdale, like the Lintons. It will be a match made in heaven. Anyway, have fun. That's the end of this video. Like and subscribe to my channel. Please prompt me in the comments below to make more videos like this. Please tell me what videos you want to see, and I'll gladly hear from you and I'll see what I can do for you.